Okay. All right, it is 5:30, and I'd like to welcome everyone to our evening of meetings. At this time, we are going to adjourn for an executive session to discuss, I believe, the qualifications for consideration of employee. I don't have the current protocol, I'm sorry. But I believe that's what we're discussing in executive session, correct? Okay, thank you. Ms. Santello, are we going into a different room? Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Hi. Hello, everyone.
Good evening.
Are we live?
Yeah.
Okay.
we are still supposed to be in executive session, so I'm not sure why until 6:15. And I just saw, was Director Hamada made the host? I'm not sure what happened just now. Is Ms. Santello available?
She is. I just talked with her, and she is
Okay.
now posting the supplemental to read
Gotta love this.
accurately, and she'll be here shortly. Thank you for that.
There we go. Okay.
Absolutely.
I think what I'd like to say is that at this point, we'd like to extend our executive session to go until approximately 6:30. So, there we go.
Thank you.
Sure. And I'm talking on mute. having a bit of technical difficulties. Yeah. Can you share a little bit about what's happening now?
President Daniels, I feel that the best thing to do would be for everyone to exit the meeting link and come back in.
Okay.
For some reason, I don't have control over the rooms. So if everyone could exit and then we could start again, my apologies.
And wait until the meeting is streaming to re-announce to go back into executive session.
Go ahead. And the meeting is streaming. And I will open the break room in just a moment.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So you said it is streaming.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there'll be a temporary pause in the video, but we are streaming.
Okay, awesome. All right, so we will reconvene in executive session. Apologies for the technical difficulties.
And executive sessions lasting until 6:30.
Potentially longer if we need to extend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Melissa, did I hear that right? The exec cabinet staying till 6:30, you said?
Approximately, yes.
Okay,
We'll be in
no worries.
executive session. Mhm.
All right, I'll just stay on anyway. Thank you.
Sure.
Hours for the divers because they're all staring at a scoreboard. Well, we get to watch the 400.14 points.
Hey, Ben, check your mute button.
So you can do it for replays, and there's this agonizing point. Season's bronze. Consolation for the team from Mexico that finishes fourth. It's an incredible whole picture. And all congratulations. Tremendous effort by the veteran Henrik Houston of Germany, his fourth Olympic Games and his third medal. These divers receiving the support of their teammates. Jess Morado with Delaney Shell in the background. They now have teammates who are silver medalists.
Hey, Ben.
Mike Hickson, China's Wang and Xie, first time Olympians with gold. This is the dive that Andrew Capobianco said was the key. The last dive for the second straight Olympics. Mike Hickson nails it to win a silver.
I tried.
And the American medalists are with Kelly.
Team USA picks up its second diving medal of these games, and it is back-to-back silver medals for Mike Hickson. Mike, you told me just making the Olympic team 5 years ago for Rio was beyond your wildest dreams. What do you think now of being a two-time Olympic medalist?
I came back, I feel like for one more run.
And you're starting a professional internship in just a few days. You're going to wear the medal to the office?
I don't think so, but yeah.
And Andrew Capobianco, for you.
Thinking.
Good evening, and we would like to call our special meeting to order at 6:33. Apologize for the delay. At this time, this is a meeting of the Kent School Board, which is held in public to comply with the Open Public Meetings Act. The purpose of this special meeting is to hold a superintendent transition discussion, approve a discussion and approval agenda, and a consent agenda. Dr. Watts, are there any changes to the agenda?
Thank you, President Daniels. There are no changes to the agenda at this time.
Thank you.
Point of order, aren't we adding the supplemental?
We're adding the supplemental agenda.
And
right?
my apologies. Hold on just one second. I have the, thank you. Just President Daniels, please forgive my previous comment. Yes, there has been a change, and we are adding a supplemental agenda to this evening's agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. So at this point, I would like to ask for a motion to add the supplemental agenda as agenda item. It would be 4.04. Is there a motion?
I move that we add the supplemental personnel report.
I second it.
It has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of approving adding the supplemental personnel report to agenda item 4.0, please indicate by raising your right hand and saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed indicate by raising your right hand and saying no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, we are on to our agenda item 2.01, discussion, superintendent transition discussion. So I am going to begin this discussion. So we have been, we've had 2 meetings to discuss the transition. And so at this time, we are looking at assigning potentially an interim superintendent for approximately 30 days to assist us as we are able to spend more time deciding on next steps for our district. So does anyone want to add to that or share thoughts about that? That's what we've been.
For transparency and clarity to the public, we've had our first meeting on this was on Monday, and our second meeting was tonight for approximately 45 minutes. I would just share anyone else's frustration too, because I've heard from constituents that are frustrated with not knowing what's been going on. We've known about this since the 15th of July, and meetings, I know I requested meetings, and I just think it's unfortunate that we haven't had, since July 16 is the first day we could have had an emergency meeting if we needed to. And, you know, I think with school starting in less than a month, I will express similar frustration to people that I've heard from, that we haven't had any meetings prior to this week about this decision. And we're in an unusual position that we essentially have just a couple days before Dr. Watts leaves. So I'm hoping that going forward, we will meet more regularly and that we can, you know, accomplish all that needs to happen, not only to, you know, in the next 30 days, but going forward for this district.
Yeah. And I will share that I actually would support, when we think about what needs to be accomplished in 30 days, and we did have this discussion as well, with things happening such as people having prior commitments and things like that, it was difficult to meet and probably will be continually because of it's summer and there's a lot of things that are happening with people and scheduled things. And so, but I am a little bit concerned about the 30-day window. I believe I mentioned in one of our meetings that 60 days would probably be more appropriate, in particular because we have school starting on the 26th of August. And so most of the focus, I believe, is going to be on that transition. In particular, new guidance just came out this morning about what that's going to look like. So there's a lot that has to happen with regards to beginning school. And so I think that that's going to take up some of the time with district leadership. And so I really would have advocated for more of a 60-day window in order to give us time to really delve into this and for people to be available to have the appropriate conversations that we need to have as we move forward.
Yeah, well, this is the first time the public has even heard anything, so regarding anything. So now they have more of an opportunity, our constituents have more of an opportunity to weigh in.
Other discussion?
Just in general, President Daniels, good things happen. People are promoted. They go on with their lives. And the Kent School District has been here for a very long time. And one thing that is very clear in my mind, that the leadership in the buildings and the teachers and the administrative staff have a good handle on what's going on in this district. I want to assure you that just in transition, things will be running fairly smoothly because all of our leadership has been a good foundation in place. And it is paramount on my mind, the importance of finding new leadership for this district. I am a little bit, which I very seldom get frustrated with having to make the decisions so quickly, but things like that happen. And I would, of course, like more time to understand which would be the best direction to have somebody as an interim position. So the only frustration I have is just selecting somebody for a 30 or 60-day window and then perhaps even having to change again. So I just wanted to state that openly, publicly. But I have faith in all of our building leaders, in all our foundation of our administration, and our teaching staff and all of our staff. So thank you very much for allowing me that time.
Yes, I agree with Director Hamada. Pretty much everything she just said. And I do think we have strong leadership in place. We don't have a whole lot of time. Schools are starting soon. And we have to make decisions and we have to be responsible. So it may not be someone the community may want to see in place, or it may be someone you want to see in place, but all of our leaders who are here in administration and have the experience, I feel would be very fitting. And asking about interest and agreeing on what they are able to do for 30 days or 60 days, I think was a good move on our part. And I'm not quite sure if time would have changed that or made a difference in finding somebody from the outside or internally if we had another week or two. That's just my opinion. So I don't know if we're ready to make a motion, but I know Director Benno will want to speak. So.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm a big believer in discourse, so I'm great for what's going to happen in the next 30 days. And so as we move on, I look forward to hearing from educators and students and community members about an interim type position. And also when we get to our superintendent search, like I challenge community members and students and educators to make their voices heard and let us know what is best for you all as we move forward with Kent School District leadership. And so I think that this next 30 days is going to be a great time for us to see what kind of interim person we can find to kind of take the helm for the next whatever period of time that might be, up to a year before we find a new superintendent. So I'm very excited for us to move on and do some great work and to listen to our community, because I think that's really important.
I do want to add, just for clarity, we as a board were discussing what that interim term would be. And I think we all agreed that because of the things that are coming up this next year, we're returning to in-person learning. We potentially have a boundary change. We also are looking at a levy. And so I believe that we agreed that we would assign an interim for the 2021-22 school year, and then begin with probably around the same time as the new board comes on in January, begin the process of the superintendent search. So that way we could keep some consistency for this year transition, where we have a lot of things that are happening with regards to whoever we decide to appoint as interim after this initial period. So that's why we're talking about the first year. That's kind of the plan that the board decided was going to be the best thing for our school district. For our school district and our students is really, we have to keep that in the forefront of our mind, is what's best for our students and our staff in our district.
Yeah, and we can't decide anything except in public, and so things can change too. So we may end up, 6 months into a superintendent search and find that person. Things can happen. So the only decisions we can make is public decisions, and so there's going to be a lot of steps. I would echo what Director Benno said too. I want to engage every stakeholder in this community in the search for the final superintendent, however that may look. But, we have immediate need right now. And so I think that's the biggest thing we're working on tonight. And then hopefully we'll have a meeting shortly and soon, a public meeting to talk about next steps.
Okay. So at this time, I will call for a motion.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to draft a resolution to appoint Chief Israel Vela interim superintendent for the 30 days beginning up to August 2nd.
I'll second that motion.
And moved and seconded. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Those in favor of approving drafting a resolution to appoint Dr. Israel Vela as interim superintendent for the next 30 days, please indicate by raising your right hand and saying aye.
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 All those opposed indicate by raising your right hand and saying no. Are there any abstentions? Okay, this motion carries. We are on to our agenda item 3.0, which is our Scenic Hill Elementary Grant application to PSB. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve item 3.01 Scenic Hill Elementary Grant application to PESB.
I second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of approving agenda item 3.01 Scenic Hill Elementary Grant application to PSB, please indicate by raising your right hand and saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed indicate by raising your right hand and saying no. Are there any abstentions? The motion carries. We're on to our consent agenda. And are there any items that a board director would like to pull? Okay. All right, so hearing none, I'll call for a motion.
I move that we approve the consent agenda 4.01 through 4.04.
A second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Excuse me. Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of approving our consent agenda items 4.01 through 4.04, please indicate by raising your right hand and saying aye.
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 Any, I'm sorry. If any disagreement, please indicate by raising your right hand and saying no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Lost my train of thought. All right, and then there is just agenda item 5.01, our financial statement. And if there's any question or for anyone regarding that. Okay, if not, then we have come to the conclusion of our special meeting and our meeting is now adjourned. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, everyone.
Aye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.